So the best way to remember me is my name is, if you remove BA and just put SANTA, Santa. So I say people that my name is Santa because I look just like a Santa Claus. So I'm from Nepal. So I run this think tank named Vikalpa and Alternative. So we work to promote the values of freedom and prosperity in the grassroots, at the grassroots level. So this is my daughter Liberty and my son Freedom. So Liberty is 10 years old and my son Freedom is 8 years old. So I gave them this name because I believe in the same values and I promote the same values back in my country. But things were different a decade ago. So this is the sketch I made a decade ago, 10, 11 years back. I'm not a professional artist, but it's my hobby. So these people were my role models. So I was following them. I was appreciating their leadership, and I was appreciating their ideologies. So Karl Marx, Mao Zedong, Fidel Castro, Stalin, Lenin. So I used to appreciate their personality, and I used to read about them a lot. But things became different when I started promoting this campaign, a Livable Nepal campaign back in Nepal. After I finished my study in South Korea in 2011 and I came back to Nepal, at the time we used to have a lot of political shutdowns. Political shutdowns means everything is closed. The protesters, the political parties, they used to call the protests and they used to halt everything. So the shops are closed, the workplace, you cannot go to your workplace, you cannot go to your colleges and schools, you cannot take your vehicles out in the street. And if you dare to do that one, they may damage your property. They may set a fire. They may vandalize the property. And there was no security of life and property. It was a state of anarchy, just a decade back. And I failed to do something. I asked Samriddhi, the Prosperity Foundation, the think tank based in Kathmandu, they initiated this campaign, so I asked them, and I wanted to bring this campaign in my place. So I started promoting these campaigns. The campaign promotes 3 fundamental values of liberty. That is security of life and property, rule of law, and freedom to enterprise. So I started promoting these values aggressively in my region. So when I started promoting these values, sometimes I have to go to the interviews, in radio interviews, sometimes in the television interviews. Sometimes I have to write the articles, blogs, to sensitize people on the values. And I have to go deep down. I have to read. I have to start reading the values of public policy, entrepreneurship, freedom. And when I started reading those books, so I come to realize that these people were not worthy to be my role models. So that was that I realized I should not follow these people. So back in 2013, I went to Kathmandu at Samriddhi Foundation. It's a think tank, and I did internship for a few months. And with the intention, I came back to my place in Viratnagar to establish a public policy think tank. I didn't have any support. I didn't have an idea how I'm going to do it, but I was sure that I was going to do it. I started with one-room office. So I put some money from my pocket and I started this organization. So the reason I started this organization in Viratnagar, because there was no one promoting these values, the values of entrepreneurship, the values of freedom and prosperity. So I thought I should do something, I should start something. So let me talk something about Nepal. It's a Federal Democratic Republic of Nepal. We are 95th in size, bigger in size. So we have around 29 million population or more than 29 million population. 80% of the people are Hindus. They believe in Hindu faith. Around 9% people believe in Buddhist faith. 5% people believe in Muslim faith, and around 1.8% people believe in Christian faith. So 69% literacy rate is 69%, and around 72% is our life expectancy. We are one of the poorest economy in the world. I will say American people are around 58 times richer than us, or we are 58 times poorer than the American people. Because of the reason, so even the piece of egg is a luxury thing for us. A bottle of Coke is a luxury thing for majority of the Nepalese people. That is why it is very difficult for us to get a visa of US or country like European countries. So if I have to take the visa, not to take the visa, but just to get an appointment, it will take 2 years or 3 years. So if I apply for now, I can get the appointment for 2025. So that is the situation. So because developed countries, they don't trust on our poverty. They feel that we are not going to come and live here. We are not going to go back. So because many people have done that before. So a majority of political parties, they are, you can see we have some social democratic parties, unified Marxist and Leninist parties. We have people's socialist parties. We have Rashtriya Prajatantra Party, that is fundamentalist, that believes in Hinduism, that believes in monarchy. And also we have got a Maoist party. So currently we have got a government of Social Democratic Party, Rashtriya Prajatantra Party, those who believes in Hinduism and the monarchy, and we have the alliance government with Maoist party. So our leader, our prime minister is from Maoist party. So taking back to a brief history of Nepal. So here you can see King Prithviraj Shah, who is the founder of modern Nepal. So back in 1768, he unified Nepal and he started his monarchy. That monarchy lasted for 240 years and ended in 2008. So in between, this guy in 1846, he took all the power from the kings and declared themselves as a prime minister, and they ruled the country iron-fistedly. There was no any kind of freedom, no political freedom, no economic freedom. So they ruled the country for 104 years. The kings were just a rubber stamp, they were just a puppet. All the powers were in the hands of prime ministers. After India got independence in 1947, so the political movement started in Nepal as well. In 1951, Nepal got its first democracy, but that democracy didn't last long. After 10 years, King Mahendra took power in his hand and he dissolved the parliament, he banned all the political parties, and he established one-party system led by king. That rule sustained for 30 years, and in 1990s, the People's Revolution started again, and then king has to share the power with the parliament. And we became constitutional monarchy from the absolute rule. So in 1990s, when India liberalized their economy, we also started liberalizing our economy. But in 1996, Maoist guerrilla war started in Nepal, and that lasted for 10 years, and 17,000 people lost their life during this civil war. In 2001, our whole royal family was massacred. Nobody knows who killed our royal family. It's still a mystery. So there was no one to rule the country, so that's why king's brother has to be king, and he has to lead the country. But his reputation and his son's reputation was not so good. So in 2005, King Gyanendra took all the power in his hand. So he dissolved the parliament again, and he took all the power in his hand. And the political parties were dissatisfied with the king's move, and they started, protesting. Maoists also come into the mainstream politics, and all the political parties and the Maoist party, they came together. They started protests with the help of India. I say India has a big role to play at that time. And after 19 days of protests, king has to give his power back to the parliament. And parliament decided to have the constitutional assembly election in 2008. And in 2008, the first parliamentary meeting decided to get rid with the monarchy and with the Hindu kingdom. So we were only the Hindu kingdom in the world, and now we become a secular nation, and also we get rid with the monarchy system. And now Nepal became a federal republic. So in 2015, the same year, big earthquake happened. Maybe you have heard that. So more than 10,000 people died in that earthquake. So we adopted our new constitution. It is 7th constitution. It's our 7th constitution. I think that you only have one. So we are very rich on that one. So It is the seventh constitution, and that new constitution says that Nepal is going to be a socialist-oriented country. So we are in between China and India. We are a landlocked country. So it's a small country compared to India and China, but we say it's a very beautiful country. Nature has gifted us so many things. We are very beautiful. We can bring, we have an opportunity to bring so many tourists in Nepal. So we are very rich in water resources. Out of 10 highest peak of the world, we have 8 of those. We are rich in water resources. We are very rich in our culture and heritage. We are a small country, but still the country has diversity. So more than 140 ethnicity lives in the country, who has got a different food, culture, and festival. And we have an opportunity to bring all 490 million Buddhist people or Buddhist pilgrimages in Nepal, because it's a land of, it's a birthplace of Lord Buddha, who is a symbol of peace. The world is living in 2023 and we are living in 2080. So you may be surprised how you people are living in 2080. We have our own calendar, Hindu calendar. So in terms of calendar, we are 56, 57 years ahead. But in terms of development, economic development, I say we are a century behind. So that is the situation. Just a minute. So you can see here, this woman is crying. She's crying because municipality officer seized her street vending card, which is the only means for her survival. And these kind of incidents are very common to us. These kind of incidents are, very common. So I'm not sure how I can play this video. So these are the people who wants to do make their survival in the street, but the government, municipality government, didn't want to be them on the pavement. So majority of the people are poor, so that's why they have to choose this decision to survive. But the government didn't want them to do. Oh, sorry. So this guy name is Prem Acharya. 4 months back, he self-immolated himself. He killed himself in front of the parliament building when the prime minister was coming out. The reason, after 2 days he died, and in his suicidal note he mentioned that he killed himself because he could not cope with the corrupt system. He could not sustain his business. He could not sustain his family. It's a very long note. If it will take half an hour to read that long note, and it's very tragic, So Index of Economic Freedom suggests that Nepal is not a good destination for doing business. So we rank 148th position out of 177 countries. Having less economic opportunities, we Nepalese are forced to seek the economic opportunities elsewhere. Every year, around 700 to 800,000 people leave the country as a migrant worker to seek the economic opportunities abroad. And every day, we receive 3 to 4 dead bodies of those people, of those migrants at our international airport. Last year only, we received around 1,500 dead bodies of these people. So compared to economic freedom, we do have some sorts of political freedom. But even government want to take that political freedom time and again. So government try to impose restriction on that. So there have been many incidents when government detained our artists, singers, comedians, rappers for criticizing the government, for criticizing the political parties and their leaders. So most of the political parties, they believe, most of the political parties and policymakers in Nepal, they believe in populist ideology. Reason why populist news and narratives makes the headline, which ultimately shape the ideology and opinion of common people. This encourages populism and illiberalism and discourages business activities and undermine the individual and economic liberty of the people. In this circumstance, we are Vikalpa is working to promote the values of freedom and prosperity in the region. So we do research, we do advocacy and we do educational programs. So when we talk about research, so we are focused in the local areas. We are focused in the eastern province of Nepal. So we do research on the livelihood issues, on the ease of doing business issues, on the values of entrepreneurship and the government accountability. So we also engage the policymakers and the concerned stakeholders in these reform agendas. So besides that, we do advocacy work. So we use a lot of tools and techniques to promote our values. So we do videos. So our videos has been very, very successful so far. So it has helped to amplify our message to the larger audience. It has helped to promote our values. So so far we have published more than 120 videos, and some of our videos have surpassed more than 1 million views. And in 2019, our visual media activities, we won the Asia Liberty Award in Sri Lanka in 2019 for our visual media engagement. And in 2017 and in 2020, our video was the finalist for the Light Camera Liberty Award that was hosted by Atlas Network. So we regularly do the dialogues, stakeholder dialogues. We bring the civil society members, we bring the politicians, we bring the bureaucrats, we bring the academicians, and we hold this kind of reform dialogues and we discuss about the policy issues. And besides that, we do write blog and articles on the regular basis to promote our values and to sensitize our audience on the values and the issues we work. And as we know that media has got a big role to play in the society, so realizing that, we have started the free speech media to amplify our message and to reach to the larger audience. So so far we have got 35,000 plus followers in social media. And then the reason we have to start this is because most of the medias, they are politically sidelined. So it's very difficult to find the neutral media source. So just to promote our values, so we have started this media source, and we regularly engage young people on our advocacy work. We do educate them on the values of freedom and entrepreneurship on the regular basis. We have entrepreneurship talk program where we bring successful entrepreneurs and share the success stories so that young people could get inspired by the stories and start the entrepreneurship. So we have conducted more than 64 events of this workshop. Around 6,000 young people have already participated on this program. We have this economic freedom campaign where we engage young people, where we educate and engage young people on the values of economic freedom. So we have this entrepreneurship and beauty of market workshop. We have conducted more than 100 workshops so far, and we educate young people on why is Nepal poor, why is entrepreneurship important, and why should I be an entrepreneur, what is the beauty of market. So these are the things that we educate young people. We do have liberty discussion programs. We have conducted more than 130 episodes of liberty discussions where we share the articles, international articles. I can see 7 Principles of Sound Public Policy. We have done the liberty discussion on that one by Lawrence Reed. So we do engage young people in this kind of discussions, political economy discussions on the regular basis. Besides that, we educate young people on filmmaking. We also reach out to the international audience and bring them in Nepal to organize the different trainings. So we have organized Liberty Camp 3 times in Nepal, and also we do partnership with CCS India, which is a big think tank in India, based in Delhi. So we also bring them, we also collaborate with them. We also have this library. So in this library, young people can reach out and read. So according to their interest. So besides that, we do fun activities like hiking. So I haven't posted the picture, otherwise, and I'm sorry, Mike, that I should have included that one. So we do fun activities. We do social activities like arranging blood for the needy ones. That is not our part of the job, but still we feel that we can create some value to the society, community members. So if somebody needs the blood, they will call us, and then we'll help to arrange the blood for the needy ones. So because we have got a big youth groups who can help on this. So few success stories, 3 success stories. This is about One Color Project Zone. So back in 2015, so Biratnagar municipality, they come up with the idea to paint the entire city with the same color. the 46,000 household will have the same color. And I don't know why they have this in their mind, but this was very ridiculous for us, and we started raising the question, what is the good thing that it will happen after painting the entire city with the same color? And they created this website, choose your colors. They gave 4 color option and asked people to vote. And the color which color is going to get more vote, they will paint the entire city with the same color. And they will force people to color in their home. And if you don't color with the same color, they will not give the essential service like birth certificate, marriage certificate, or death certificate. So they will stop that. So you have to put the color, then only you can get the services. So we are surprised with this decision, and I come up with the articles. I wrote an articles, and we held the press meet and to sensitize people, and also we did the Facebook bloggings. We wrote to Facebook pollings, and that inspired other people to speak up. So some people went to delegation to the authorities, and when the government faced a lot of criticism on this project, so finally they have to give up. So they were not able to implement this project. The other issue is about motorbike license. So motorbike license, here you cannot see much motorbikes, you can see a lot of cars. Riding 4-wheelers are very expensive in Nepal. It's very expensive. We have 287% of tariffs if we bring the car or motorbike from India, or if we bring the car from the India. So Indian people can buy the same car in very cheap rate. We have to pay a lot of money, and we are twice poorer than the Indian people, but we are forced to pay that one. So people have to rely on 2-wheelers. But 2-wheelers are also very expensive in Nepal. The same motorbike that you can buy in $400 or $600 in Indian side of the border, we have to pay around $1,600 to $1,700 in Nepal side of border because of the high tariffs. Buying the motorbike is not so difficult. If we have got the money, we can buy the motorbike. But getting the motorbike license was very difficult. Just to get the motorbike license appointment, not the license, we have to wait 1 to 3 years, because of these hassles. And the people who could get the motorbike appointment, license appointment, only few people could pass the exam, written exam and trial exam. So most of the people will not have the motorbike license, but people have got a motorbike, but they don't have the license. But people are going to ride the motorbike because they already purchased that one. And now, if somebody hits the accident, or even if it's not their fault, they have to go to the jail. When we were doing our research in Viratnagar, there were 23 people in the jail who didn't have the license, and they have to face the consequences. And every time you get caught by the traffic police, you have to pay the heavy fine. And we realized this is a serious issue, and we have to step in. And we did speak up on this. So we wrote 5-6 articles. Me and my team wrote 5-6 articles on this. We did the stakeholders meeting, and we identified the problem, and then we published the research paper. We created videos. We created 4 videos at that time. So you can see this video. It is a feature movie. We also did the commentary video. We also did the interview video. So here you can see this video was viewed by 3.2 million people. So this video created a very good discourse in our region. It was shared by more than 50,000 times, or I don't know how many times. But this created a good discourse in the region. And also we went to the minister. We went delegation to the ministry and meet the minister. We also went to the Department of Transport and talked to them. We sent our delegation. But they didn't listen much. So what we did is we created this street protest. So we appealed people to join us in the street, in our demonstration. So the purpose of the demonstration was to highlight the issue. And then on 5th of December, we organized this demonstration, and many people joined us at that time. So there were many media persons, there were many journalists who come to our event in the street protest, and they highlighted our story, they covered our story. So tomorrow, the story was everywhere. It was in the national television, it was also in the regional television, it was in the print news, it was in the online, it was in the YouTube, it was everywhere. So the videos, I remember more than 500,000 view was in the videos that was shared by other people. So it created a pressure to the local government, to the province government. And on the 8th of December, so minister, it's in Nepali, so I'm sorry that you cannot understand, but here it is written that it's a surprise visit. Minister made a surprise visit to the Department of Transport. So their minister went there and asked about the services with the people, and also he ordered the officials to deal with the problem, because people are facing problems and that a lot of criticism is going on. So what we did is, next step, we went to the television and asked them that we are going to organize the discussion program, panel discussion program in the television, and they were happy to organize that one. And we called the people, panelists from the Department of Transport and also from the ministry, and one of our researchers, you might know him, Sarvagya. So we organize this panel discussion, and we invite traffic police, we also invite civil society members, the people who didn't have the license, also the police department, everyone. So there was a big debate. I mean to say that people started questioning to the authorities, and authorities have to say within 2 months we are going to deliver the license from the Biratnagar office. And so here is the news. It says that within 2 months we are going to share the license, distribute the license from Biratnagar office. They could not do it in 2 months, but they were able to do it in 8 months. After 8 months, the service started. The same motorbike license, we have to wait, 1 to 3 years just to get the appointment. Today, if somebody wants to get the motorbike license from Biratnagar, they can get it in 1 to 2 weeks. It's not the license appointment. It's just people can get the motorbike license within a week or two. So, and we are happy that we were the part of this. So here, I'm sorry, people have mentioned us, here someone has mentioned that Vikalpa was always there to raise the voice, so I cannot see there. So somebody has, some other people has mentioned about Vikalpa and our work. It's a protest work. And here is that, and also the authorities, they mentioned that it was also Vikalpa who has a great role to play. So you cannot understand the language, but it's just 30 seconds or 50 seconds. We have a subtitle you can see, I guess. Oh, sorry. So he was the head of Department of Transport at that time. So he mentioned that Vikalpa also has a big role to play to facilitate the process. The third issue, and this is my last slide. So this is about city rickshaw issue, e-rickshaw issues. It's a barrier to entry issues. So e-rickshaw, you can see in the first picture. So it's an electronic rickshaw. It was introduced back in 2012-13. Before that, we used to have a manual rickshaw. How many of you have heard about the manual rickshaw? The man pulls the rickshaw. And then it's very inhuman, because currently in our part of the world, in my place, it's 43 degrees Celsius. It's very hot. And it's very inhuman, people driving, pulling someone, pulling to 2-3 people, and it's very, you have to put a lot of effort. So this e-rickshaw came into existence, and it was very good for us, because it was creating jobs, because we don't have to go outside. It was stopping people to go out. It was giving dignity to these people. They were being the honor of the e-rickshaw, and also it was affordable for everyone. It was very cost effective. It was reducing cost of the consumers. It was also eco-friendly. It was, by all means, it was very good. But the government municipal government, they come up with the idea to give registration only for 300 e-rickshaw. They thought that this much is enough for Biratnagar, so we don't need more rickshaw. It will create a problem to Biratnagar. So they decided that. But when we were doing research, within a year, at that time, there were already 1,300 e-rickshaw in Biratnagar, which means 1,000 e-rickshaw were illegal by government rules. So these e-rickshaw, and now when they don't have the registration, so when they go apply in the street, then traffic police will ask them their registration, and then they don't have the registration, and now traffic police can find them. They can seize their e-rickshaw. Sometimes they can put 2, 3 days or 4 days, and then now these people don't have anywhere to go, anything to do. It's only the means for their survival. The poor people have only the means. This is only the means for their survival, and so we felt, okay, this is a serious issue and we need to speak up on this. And we started writing the articles, me and my colleagues. So we wrote around 5 articles. At the time, we created 2 videos. So 1 documentary videos and 1 feature movie. Besides this, we also created the television discussion program where we bring the trade union leaders, rickshaw union leaders, the traders, the traffic authorities, and the municipal authorities, and we created a television discussion live program. We had a meeting with the traders, we had a meeting with the traffic authorities, we did a meeting with the Department of Transport, with the municipality, and we also support in the protest activities. You can see here there is a protest organized by e-rickshaw drivers. We help them to write the slogans. So these are the e-rickshaw drivers, they are the union leaders. So we collaborate with them and we help them with the slogans. We, by all means, we could support them. We did from ourselves. And at last in 2016, May 26, government decided to give 1,665 more e-rickshaw drivers the registration. So again, we are happy that we were the part to facilitate this process, but still the problem is not solved because many of these e-rickshaw drivers, they don't have got a license because these people could not read and write because they are poor people who are illiterate and they could not read and write. And now if they have to go through this written exam, so they cannot pass the exam. So there is a problem. So still the fight is not over. We see we need to facilitate this process as well. So thank you so much, Mike, and thank you so much, Mackinac Center. So thank you so much, everyone. So this is my last slide. So I would like to take the question and answer if you have got any.
Okay, so you have question cards on your table. If you want to write a question down, feel free to do so. I'm going to give you the microphone in just a second, and I'll just read the cards out loudly. I wanted to mention something about the unlicensed rickshaw driver because it was one of my favorite stories from when I was there. So, a gentleman with a motorcycle, he's towing a 4-person cart, almost like a large wheelbarrow behind him, and that's what we're riding in. And we're headed toward my hotel, me and Basanta and a third man, just a stranger, who didn't know who he was. And suddenly the rickshaw does a U-turn and goes away from the hotel. And so Basanta says, "Hey, what's going on?" to the driver. And the driver explains to him, "Well, I don't have my license, and there's a checkpoint up ahead, and we don't want to get stopped, so we're having to go around, go through town." So the stranger in our rickshaw, the man we didn't know, began to rant in Nepalese about they want a license for this, and they want a license for that, and they want this charge money, and they want to charge you money for this. So he's ranting about this. I don't understand a word he's saying, but I understand what he's saying. And so I was responding with, yes, that's right. And then he asked me a question in Nepalese, and I said, I don't know what you're talking about. And he said, "Oh, I thought he was from here, and you were from somewhere else because of the beard." So
yeah, that happened.
When you see Basanta walking down the street, I think because of the beard, because of your personality and your reputation, people gravitate toward him. The local business owners know who he is because he's their voice. The street vendors, they know who he is. The young people on the street, they've participated in his events and in his demonstrations, and so it's a lot of fun to walk the streets with a good man. Okay, we're going to ask you some questions. I think the first one is just, can you tell us a little bit about in what ways are our cultures different? You know, you and I have talked about this a lot. So how is the culture in the U.S. different from Nepal?
There are so many cultural differences. So one thing I was mentioning to Mike, so when you say, when you nod your head, it means yes. This is also yes to us, but also this is yes to us. If you speak to me and if I do this, don't think that I'm saying no. This is also yes to us. So that is one cultural difference. The other thing is, I think that we were talking about this. In this part of the world, everything seems smooth. So one of my, when I was in international visitors programs in the US, and there was another guy from Nepal, and he was just thinking something, and I said, what happened? And he says, Basanta, do you know why this country is rich and why we are poor? And I said, I don't know. So why? And he says, because look at the cars. It doesn't stop anywhere. It just can go miles. And in our part of the world, every time, somebody is going to stop you. And that is the difference, So things are very smooth here. I think that, we realize that when we come from that part of the world, we realize. The other thing is that, this part of the world is very entrepreneurial. And so in our part of the world, entrepreneurship is still new. The values of liberty is still new. So I think 1775, 76, so you started, the founders of this country started, with the certain values, certain principles of freedom. But that things are still unheard to our part of the world because we believe in communitarian approach, communitarian values. So when you are 16 or 18, you get out from the home. Your parents will ask you to leave the home and do work. In our part of the world, we don't do that. Leaving the home is not a good thing for us. So even I still live with my parents. So my parents, they are 70s, so they live with me. So we live in a combined family, joint family. So it is not unusual, but here it's something different. That is the cultural difference. So I'm sorry that Mike recently, his dad recently passed away. So if it was in our part of the world, it was impossible for me to get out from the home for 13 days at least. And for 13 days, I could not eat salt. I could not eat oil. So no cooked food. So it's only I can eat rice and butter and some fruits. I cannot wear the dress like I'm wearing right now. I have to wear the white dress and not the trousers. So I cannot wear the slippers. So that is totally culturally different. Culturally we are very different. I say marriage also. So I got arranged marriage 10 years back, yes, in 2013. So here I think that arranged marriage is, we also have the love marriage, love plus arranged marriage, but usually we have better arranged marriage. Now things are changing, but here arranged marriage is something new. I think it was in the past, but now it's very rare. So our parents, so many times our parents will decide whom we are going to get married. So that's the cultural difference I see. And there are so many things we can talk, hours in the cultural difference, but we don't have time. So.
Okay. Have you been able to see an increase in entrepreneurship as a result of your work? Have you seen the youth that went through your programs continue to advocate for those values or to practice those values?
I'll say not all the people, it's very difficult, but yes, there are a few examples. There is a guy named Abhinayak Malla. He started Wake Up Coffee, and now he is expanding his chain, which is franchise, which is very rare in our part of the world. So in American culture, having franchise is a common thing, but in our part of the world, the Nepali guy, having a franchise in different part of the world, it's rare. So this guy, he was returning from Switzerland and he was planning to go to Canada. He was planning to shift to Canada. Usually the young people, they don't want to settle in my part of the world, in Nepal. So they want to go abroad. They want to come to US, they want to come to Canada, they want to come to Europe, Australia and settle there because we have very less economic opportunities back in our country. So that's why these young people always think about the better future and they want to settle somewhere else. So he was also planning to settle somewhere else. in Canada. But he was doing, teaching in one of the college, and we have this event, Entrepreneurship Talk program, which I mentioned before, in one of the college. And this guy was asking the question to the speaker. He asked the question to the speaker. He asked, what are the challenges you see in business field? And that speaker, he mentioned that his name is Rajendra Raut. He says, I don't see much challenge these days compared to past, because when we were doing our business, there was guerrilla warfare, Maoist guerrilla warfare, and they were blowing the breeze, they were looting the banks. It was very difficult to transfer goods and service from one place to another. At the time also, we survived our business. Compared to that, it's very easy. So that was his response. And this guy, Abhinayak, he thought, okay, if people can do, why not me? So he started his Wake Up Coffee in Biratnagar. Now he started another franchise. He's also thinking to take that to Dubai, and also he was planning to take it in America. So he has got a sister here living. So he wants to bring the franchise here too. So this is one story, and there are other stories also we have. And we are happy that we are but I'm not saying that it's because of us that things are changing, but we are also being a part of it to bring some sorts of change, not the whole, because the society is still one of the poorest economy in the world. So if our contribution has helped a lot, then things would happen different. But we are in the grassroots, we cannot change the entire scenario, but still we are trying our best, whatever we can. Yes, and there are people who are advocating for the values of freedom. Those who are, if the people who have participated in our program, if you ask them what is liberty, they can say in a very simple way what is liberty. Before that, it was very difficult to grasp the idea of what is liberty or what is entrepreneurship. So there are people who are willing to be the part of entrepreneurial journey, and there are people who would like to know more about liberty and talk about liberty.
Basanta, you showed us a video of the government knocking over food stands and unlicensed vendors. What about you and your work? There's a number of questions here about, do you face any kind of censorship from the government or physical threats from the government? Do you feel fear for your safety? What's the environment for advocates like you?
I haven't faced those kind of challenges. I already mentioned that compared to economic freedom, we do have some sorts of political freedom, but government want to take that political freedom sometimes back. Once incident, it was in 2014-15, we had these political shutdowns. Maoist called for the political shutdown, and everything was shut down. And some of my training participants, they come to me and they say, brother, it's too much. We should do something. We should not wait, because everything is closed. We cannot go to the college and schools, and everything shut down because of these people. We need to take action. We gathered 28 people at that time, and we take the street. We started processing on the street. We marched on the street. When we stayed in one of the junctions for a few times, and we hold the slogans in our hand. I don't have the pictures here, but I have that picture. And when we were returning back, somebody called me. He was from the Maoist party, and then he says, hey, brother, we respect you, but it doesn't mean that you challenge us. So we respect your work, but don't try to challenge us. I heard that you are taking the streets. I say, no, sir. I'm not challenging you. I'm not challenging your programs. I'm just demanding my rights. It's my right to work in the streets. It's my right to operate my business. It's my right to go to school, and it's my right to go to the college. So I'm not demanding any other things. I'm just my right. It's my natural rights. I should have that one. And if there is any problem you see, I can come to you and I can discuss you on this. And that guy, he became the MP or parliament member later on. So I don't have the bad relation with him. Still, I have a good relation. But when it comes, it's their programs, it's their party, and it's their shutdowns. So they don't want to be challenged. But in other case, I'm lucky that I haven't faced those kind of challenges. So that is why we try to build the young people, the supporter base of young people. We try to reach young people. Because we don't want to be alone. It's not a battle that can be fought alone. So we need many people besides us who can speak for us if something happens, and we are fortunate in this case. Thank you so much.
We have so many questions and so little time, so I've got one more question for you, Basanta, and then feel free to stay afterwards. We've got plenty of time for small conversations, one-on-one conversations. But knowing that Nepal is a poor country and the people there are probably, I know they're generous, I've experienced their generosity, but they don't have a lot of resources. How do you fund your work, and how can we help you do so?
Thank you, Mike. So as you mentioned that the society, economically the society is very backward. So that's why we cannot rely in Nepal. So we have to rely on the international supporters like Atlas Network. There is another organization named SIPE, Center for Private Enterprise. It's based in Washington, D.C. So they are helping us since last year. These are the two organizations, and there is one Swiss Development Committee, so Swiss Contact. So they are helping on our entrepreneurship programs to engage young people. So in the local level, we were able to do raise the in-kind support. So we partners with the hotels, do the partnership with the colleges and the media house, and then we do the program. So to minimize the cost, to reduce the cost, we do that one. For other resources, we have to rely on the outside world. And we engage young people on the voluntary basis. So there are many things we can do in our part of the world voluntarily. So that we have got a good network of youth people, young people. We engage them voluntarily. That is also one method of working. And how can you help is maybe building connections. And, the networking can be helpful. So it's because of the network that I'm here today. The other thing is that the mentorship can be helpful to us. And also training and programs, if there is any kind of training programs, that can be helpful to us, to my colleagues. And also the resource, if there is funding opportunities, if there is any. So if you can link us with that, that will be helpful to us. I say that if I have $25,000 US, I can invest that money in our free speech media news portal to amplify our work, to amplify our vision and mission, to promote the values of freedom and prosperity in the region. We can do the news every day. We can create a blog and videos every day. We can bring the investigative research and promote the values of public policy, freedom, and entrepreneurship in the region.
Great. Let's thank Basanta for his time here today.